Hi, guys. It's Steve, as you know, but this is the start of a podcast journey for me. I hope that goes for a long time. Might not, but we're going to give it a try. I mentioned to someone yesterday at my men's book club that I love throwing stuff on the wall and see what sticks. And so, podcast name is going to be I'm Just Steve. And most of the time I'll have guests here, but I thought I might as well introduce it to begin with and just talk about like the journey of how I got to this moment of doing a podcast again. But I'm Just Steve is the idea behind it is removing labels, right? So in life, I've been given so many different labels from dyslexic and ADD and chronic fatigue and real estate agent and broker and dad and divorced. You name it. I think the world likes to get into a place in which we label or define a person on their labels, right? Without understanding their lens or where they come from, how that label came about, and is that label even accurate to who they are? So I hope through this journey of this podcast is to remove labels and understand humans more, right? So that my guests feel that at the time of the interview or whatever, they can just be Jim or Sally or Tim or you name the person, that they can be the human they are and they can remove the coat or the lens of the label that they fit in to introduce themselves as humans again, as people again, as not social media presence or as the thing that they believe the world wants of them. So I hope that we break down some of those barriers together and that you as an audience can help me hold me accountable to that ultimately in the idea of I'm Just Steve being Steve again and finding myself maybe through this podcast and journey or the journey over the last 5 years that I've been on to try to really understand what life has thrown at me, the lenses that I wear, and how I want to proceed going forward in the next sort of period of life. So I talk about lenses. Let me just explain what I mean there, because some people probably haven't heard that analogy. But the idea for me is always glasses. I've always worn glasses since I was, I don't know, maybe 5 or something like that. So I've never done the contacts, but the lens of the world that you live in is different. And I always say to people that it doesn't matter who you are. I don't know you because I didn't live in your lens, your world. And I have to take off my lens or my glasses and my history to understand you a little bit more. And so having each human come in here with their lens and their stories and their traumas and their joys and their excitements, their dreams. I hope that we get to know each other better and you guys get to know some of the friends that I have. And hopefully I get to meet people that I don't even know now. So if there's like some cool people that you think I should interview that are just amazing humans that have a really interesting story, or not necessarily, you're just really good humans, that their life is something that should be recorded and that I have the right or the ability to ask them the right questions to learn more about them and to grow and teach others about what their story is. So I think, for us over the next period of time, as I introduce new people, as I talk more myself, the podcast grows. It grows with you, the audience, and that you feel like you have a voice in learning about the humans that I get to hang out with, or just know. I asked my son, so I have 7 children, if you don't know that, blended family, and my oldest son is 16. Well, I have twin 16-year-olds, and I was on the way to driving them to school this morning, which I do every morning. And generally they ask me, what am I doing today? Right. And I love that question. Sometimes they don't, the 16-year-old boys are just grumpy at times, but a lot of the times they do just ask the question of, what are you going to do today, Dad? Or what did you do yesterday? And so today, I was thinking about the podcast as I was driving, and I literally almost missed the exit to their school because I was thinking about all the cool people that I could invite on here. And, the school is doing a really interesting project that I'm involved in with their, helping some of the students with their disc profiling and getting to know themselves a little better. And I thought, oh man, it'd be cool to have some middle schoolers on here. And so I was driving down the highway and almost missed the exit. And so my son Elliot said, like, dude, like, are you okay? Or like, where was your brain there? And I just like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna do this podcast thing. And I'm starting it, and they're used to me starting random stuff. So they're like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, so do you want to be on it, Elliot? And he's like, maybe I could be a guest at one of these times. So we'll probably get Elliot out here. Sawyer would have no interest. But maybe we'll get Elliot out here eventually. But Elliot did say I needed to do a little shout out as a goal. And he said, like, a goal, Dad, you've taught us, like, needs to be accomplished or is trying to be accomplished. So he knows I'm a big Matthew McConaughey fan, right? So, a couple people say I have his big nose and his hair. I'm not as skinny as him. Once I was, but maybe I'll get back there someday. But so this is the shout out to Matthew because, Elliot said he should be one of our guests eventually. So, we're out in Grand Haven, Michigan. The summers are amazing. The winters are great too, just a little quieter. So, Matthew, we could put you up here in Grand Haven if you want to come hang out on the I'm Just Steve podcast eventually. I know you're out on the podcast these days talking to people about your new book and your growth. Yeah, it was just a fun conversation with Elliot talking about how you like ribeyes and tequila. So yeah, he's pretty impressed, and so am I, because we could do that too, just eat ribeyes and drink tequila. It might be bad, but we'll see. But you should come on the podcast, Matthew. So that's there you go, Elliot. Did the shout out to Mr. Matthew McConaughey, and we'll see what happens there. But as we go along, again, please tune in. Hopefully we'll put these out every couple weeks. We'll see how many we can record here. And I really would love your help. This is something I've been thinking about for a while, thinking about writing a book, thinking about journaling again, right? And video is just the medium that fits me, right? And doing it now as a recorded podcast, I've done a lot of video work and a lot of podcasting work in just the short clips of the real estate world. But I think that now is the time to grow it. And I really would love your help growing it. So please share with other people the journey. Please let them know that we're doing this. And again, I would really love some referrals for guests. If there are people that, again, you think are just really amazing humans, that have a story or that their lens is so unique to you. When you meet them for coffee, they're the people that you say, like, you should meet this person, right? Like, you're promoting them because of how unique they are and how much insight they bring to your life. Doesn't matter to me, age, demographic, race, all of those things. Like, the more diverse people in life, the cooler the lenses are and the more we can learn together. So this is that podcast. I Am Just Steve. This is episode number 1 as an intro to invite you to participate. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to growing alongside you.